You're on.
This is Kate Kruger and I'm Talking Guns. I have to tell you, I'm excited and honored by this interview with Erik Prince of Blackwater. We'll say Blackwater Ammo, but of Blackwater, and I am honored to have you here and to chat with me. A lot of people are going to ask, what's Blackwater doing now?
Well, I was approached by an old friend of mine who's definitely the brains of the operation, Nicola Bandini, about putting an ammunition and firearms company together under the Blackwater brand. And, you know, I started Blackwater originally back in 1997 when I just got out of the SEAL teams, and then the focus was on providing training for special operations community, for law enforcement, for people that carried a gun in harm's way, or the armed citizen that wanted to defend their home and what they cared about. And, you know, through a whole bunch of permutations, that business grew because we kept saying yes to our government customers. And I sold that in 2010, but I kept the brand. And so, you know, I would say version 1 of Blackwater was focused on training and a full-on private military contractor. This time, Blackwater, we're doing some very high-end ammunition, suppressors, and soon some firearms. So in that case, you know, Blackwater version 1 was about, I would say, an innovation in providing the most up-to-date training facilities and tactics and procedures and support for operations in difficult areas. This time we're focused on the equipment that people that go in harm's way carry with them. Okay, so for example, you bet, suppressors, ammunition, and soon firearms. For example, we have a new 50 cal round out. You know, we just passed the 100-year anniversary of the 50 cal round, right? When John Browning developed it back in World War I to fire at tanks. It was an anti-tank round, and now the 50 cal use is still as a heavy machine gun, but also as a sniper rifle. And you know, when you have ISIS and you have the Taliban, when you have a really bad enemy that has a very long reach, we have to make sure the good guys have an even longer reach. And so we have redesigned the 50 cal case. We have a aluminum, it's first of its kind, a 2-part aluminum case, which is machined.
Really?
And it is not, well, the original design for the last 100 years is you take a brass slug and you beat the heck out of it and you stretch it 4 inches, right? And that's how you get a brass case. And it makes the neck of it not very precise, and it's heavier. So our our aluminum case weighs 66% less, right? So with a 10 times as precision in the neck, which means that our overall round weighs 35% less. So if you have an aircraft application, if you're packing your gear in, or if you're your vehicle, our ammunition weighs 35% less, which matters. With monolithic bullets, which gives us great ballistic coefficients and great reach. Of course, applied monolithic bullets and high precision design across all the 30 cal from 338 down to, of course, 7.62 by 51 and all the family of 5.56 rounds.
Right.
That high. You know, we're not looking to compete in the very low end training ammunition. We're looking for people that take
it seriously.
Accuracy and terminal performance extremely seriously.
Yeah, sounds good. That sounds excellent, actually.
So those will be on on sale very soon. Our suppressor, right, a unique attribute of it, again of its kind. Our suppressor requires no brackets, no modifications, or anything to the gun. So any M4 style or any M16 style birdcage flash suppressor, our titanium suppressor comes right over the top with a locking collar, and it holds a very true 0.
Get out. That's
and
awesome.
capable of sustained full auto fire.
That's awesome. They all need some sort of hookup on them. That's amazing.
Right. So it's literally a gun you can drop if you have 3 or 4 different 5.56 rifles with a birdcage flash suppressor. You can move the suppressor across all those guns.
There's got to be some form of adapter or something in there, no?
It is a special cam locking collar that's a proprietary design for our system.
Excellent.
Thank you.
That's outstanding. So Is this where you're gonna just stay in that market, or is there more to
Well,
come? or
More to come.
Is Blackwater coming back?
The government, well, first of all, the government shutdown delayed us from getting a few firearms here to the show. Couldn't get the permits done in time, but there'll be some.
I'm so surprised at that.
Handguns, carbines, and even a new very long-range sniper cartridge, proprietary design for their own case. Since we cracked the code on making our own cases, developing our own calibers is much easier to adapt to now. So that's, again, ammunition, suppressors, firearms, the key things that people that go in harm's way need. We also have a fantastic gear system. It was originally designed in Israel. Look, I've carried a lot of things in life, in the field, in weird places, and swam it and jumped it and whatever. And the new Blackwater line of tactical gear is designed by Marome Dolphin, is fantastic, and it provides really, whether you're just carrying plates or whether you're carrying a rucksack, it lets you distribute the load, and it is the most effective load carrying system I've ever seen. So people will see more on that as well. Does Blackwater come back as a full-on private military contractor? Not for now, but I have been, not for now, but look, Blackwater grew originally because we said yes to our customers and we served them well and did exactly what they needed. We see the need for that kind of innovation in the market space now, whether it's in long-range rounds, some new designs and some firearms, and better ways to carry gear. But I think anybody that has served or is contemplating serving, we need to find a way to put an end to these endless wars. And the idea that we've been in Afghanistan for 17 years now, and the bad guys are winning. Look, the United States went to Afghanistan because they struck us from there. And it is a hotbed of jihadis. And so figuring out a way to keep local security forces effective without the staggering spend that America spends there now, right? The U.S. spends $62 billion in Afghanistan right now. Remember, after 9/11, the CIA and 100 soft guys, okay, went in with money, willpower, air power, and the Afghans, working with the local Afghans, they smashed the Taliban in a matter of weeks. And then we went to a very conventional military approach, basically repeating the Soviet battle plan, and we've gone backwards ever since. So I've been quite loud publicly.
Incredibly mismanaged.
It's mismanaged, and the Pentagon is about the process and not necessarily about success and results.
Right.
And it is, I appreciate that the president campaigned on ending endless wars. He's right? I wrote an op-ed because I have sons that are going to join the military, and the idea of them going to Afghanistan to get blown up or dead, I want no part of that either. But we have to figure out a way to leave the lights on to keep the Afghan government, some kind of Afghan security force in place and effective for much less than we're
Keep
spending
them
now.
honest, too.
Absolutely, that's right.
That's really what it comes down to, is keeping them honest.
And when,
But we have trouble doing that with our own government.
you know what?
That's a whole other subject.
That's a whole other subject, but again, the greatness of America, right? America was made great because of its people and its entrepreneurs that came up with better ideas. Good ideas tend to not come from Washington.
Never.
They come from the greatness of the American countryside, and we have great local government and great state governments, and in competition is a very healthy thing, right? Competition amongst the states for who has the best pro-business environment to make it the nicest place to live. That is a very healthy part of America. The federal government, I think we suffer many of our problems because we've allowed the federal government to grow way too large.
They were never supposed to, but
And that's a
whole
bigger
other-
philosophical
That's a
question.
whole another subject completely.
But the competition of
I'm kind of a
ideas,
history buff.
me too. The competition of ideas in how to end these endless wars, I think, is very, very healthy. And sadly, the Beltway think and the military-industrial complex is kind of a real thing. And so, when veterans get upset and demand, because whether it's what happened in 1975 in Saigon, right, when the U.S. had pulled out and abandoned Vietnam completely and left them without the means to defend themselves, I want to prevent a repeat of that image of a helicopter lifting people off the rooftop of the U.S. Embassy. It was actually a CIA safe house, it was not the embassy, but that image of America totally in defeat. We cannot let illiterate goat herders, and the Taliban.
My brother was
Defeat
on one
us.
of the buses, he and his family the week before, and ran with one of the engineering companies out of Connecticut. And he was there, and they left a week before the hostages were taken. They knew all of those people.
Wow,
And so they were on the buses that were being rattled down the street to get to the airstrip,
wow,
getting out a week before. So yeah, that was a very real scare for our family.
I'm sure.
You know, so yeah, we don't want to see things like that again. That was terrible.
Look, America's foreign policy should be our friends should love us,
Mhm.
our rivals should respect us, and our enemies should fear us.
Absolutely, and amen to that. Amen to that. Now, hey, you have a book and a potential upcoming movie from that book?
I did write a book a couple years ago. It's
Uh-huh.
called Civilian Warriors,
Mhm.
and it was actually just a press release yesterday that it's being made into a movie. It's actually the same production company that made The Hurt Locker.
So, you're going to be excited.
You know what? A bit excited or apprehensive. It's an odd thing to have your life written about.
Ooh, scary. Who's going to play you?
I don't know. Definitely not me.
Definitely not you, huh? Well, I got to tell you, I had my first experience with Blackwater was very early on.
Okay.
And I was very active in the shooting sports, and I was probably one of the top 3 female shooters, at a time when women weren't recognized as shooters. And the irony was, we had just lifted ourselves out of the East Coast and came all the way out to the West Coast. And we got a phone call. I got a phone call from someone talking about Blackwater. Evidently, they had gotten my name and were looking for women.
Hmm.
And,
Well.
and I had just moved all the way out to the West Coast and went, no, I don't think so. But a long time ago, I did get, where did I put the darn thing now? I don't know. There we go. I carry this in my wallet.
All right.
I carry it in my wallet all the time.
Original Blackwater coin.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
I had that in my wallet because I was honored with the phone call. Sad I couldn't take it out, but honored anyway.
You know what? I built that place. I found great people to help me build it.
Mhm.
The SEAL teams had used private facilities since the 1970s, but no one had done it on an industrial scale.
Right.
I was in an unusual position because of my father's success that I was able to fund that, because believe me, the idea of building a large training facility in the late 90s, when a major military
Oh,
range
yeah.
was being closed on a weekly basis because of all that drawdown, that so-called peace dividend,
Right.
was quite counterintuitive. But built it to support the SEAL teams, the SOF community, law enforcement, and individual shooters. And as a matter of principle, we kept it open for people that wanted to come and shoot and train and be ready. And one of the a significant program that we had to do was after Columbine, right? When those police responded, and there was a lot of departments, and
That was
nobody
huge.
made it was the change in the paradigm from surround and negotiate to the active shooter have to solve that immediate threat. And in our busy times, we were shooting about 1.3 million rounds a month.
Crazy,
It
huh?
was a staggering volume, but we managed to run a safe place.
Because you were doing private security too for some special folks.
So, you know what? I grew up around the automotive business, right? That's
Mhm.
what my dad's business was. He made automotive parts.
Right.
And so the idea of very efficient factories. And so Blackwater started as a training facility, right? But if you look at the process of deploying people, right?
Right.
If you're going to deploy a military person, you have to recruit, vet, equip, train, deploy, and support.
Correct.
And so Blackwater grew into an integrated facility that did the recruiting, the vetting, the equipping, the training, the deploying, and the supporting. So whether it was a medical facility, a warehouse facility, all the things you need to do all that process, yes, the government asked us to do very high-end security, very high-end support in weird places. We grew an aviation arm that had 73 aircraft. We did a lot of stuff. That was it was hard and interesting, but we grew because we said yes and then ran like hell to make it happen.
You guys did a hell of a job. A lot of bad juju that happened on you, not because of you, but on you. And I was really sad to see that. And as you can see, I'm still faithful to Blackwater.
Thank you, ma'am.
But but I really, I thought there was some bad deals. Unfortunately, anytime you mess with any of the governments, they're never gonna take blame for anything, and stuff rolls downhill.
You know,
You know?
we operate a lot of aircraft and
Mhm.
lots of turbine engines, and a turbine engine has 3 or 4 moving parts. Turbine engines break.
Yeah,
You employ thousands of people. Sometimes people do dumb things. Sometimes people make mistakes.
stuff happens.
And it is, you know, that's whether it's a difficult shooting or a questionable shooting that a law enforcement officer is, or someone that defends himself,
Always.
the Monday morning quarterback sitting in the comfort of their air-conditioned office is always, they seem to, way too easy to make judgments on the people that have to make a truly life and death split-second decision.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Listen, I've thoroughly enjoyed this interview. Thoroughly enjoyed this. And I was really excited when Brian told me that he was going to bring you by because, like I said, long time ago, but nonetheless, I'm very pleased to see you're back.
I'm sorry we weren't more insistent back in the late 90s.
Yeah, well, you didn't have that many women doing silly stuff like me, like, I don't know, getting my black belt in karate and, you know, doing all this champions. Women just weren't, I was always the tomboy. And nonetheless, I had a blast, and I did shoot a lot of rounds. I had a blast.
Good.
Not bad for an Irish Catholic kid from Massachusetts, huh? But anyway, I really have enjoyed this interview.
Thank you.
And I thank you for taking the time, because I know you guys are out straight. But thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
An absolute pleasure.
Sure.